Phibz, a TikTok creator who went viral for cringy yet harmless TikTok dances, who just in 3 short days of fame immediately found herself in an ocean of allegations. You may know her from the dance trend she spawned over on TikTok or Gideon's uninformed exoneration of her crimes. However, today we won't be talking about her role playing with those under the age of 18, her grooming behavior, racism, or weak defense of her alleged crimes. Today we have something else pretty degenerate by itself that just started making its rounds, and that's faking dissociative identity disorder, or DID, for attention on her secret venting TikTok account. Incredibly disgusting to see. So Phibz, on January 6th of 2025, would create this account labeled Bleach3768, and later in March, her first TikTok on it, where she would begin her journey documenting her struggles allegedly living with such a debilitating disorder. With this post here containing the caption, "What it's like being in a system for me," along with the description further solidifying how truthful she's being, with "This happens all the time, I swear to God." Hashtag DID, hashtag system, hashtag systalk, hashtag autism, hashtag school.
Hey, Salami. Hi. Give me back my hamster.
Which, from watching that video, it can almost make this disorder come off as silly, where in an actual person suffering from DID, these voices can cause insane amounts of anxiety or even fear, which I believe goes hand in hand with her misunderstanding of this disorder along with the romanticizing of it that she's getting into. And before moving forward, for anyone confused about what DID is, it's defined within the DSM-5, which is a book you could essentially call a psychologist's guidebook for diagnosing these things. DID is a disruption of identity characterized by 2 or more distinct personality states, involves a discontinuity in a sense of self, memory, cognition, behavior, etc. It normally forms when one suffers from immense and chronic trauma, typically during childhood. So you can imagine how damaging it can be for someone who's truly gone through enough trauma to begin suffering from DID to see someone like Phibz on the internet LARPing the disorder and in turn spreading misinformation about it as well, trivializing it in the process. But these alters she'll begin to talk about would be these other personalities or identities found in actual cases of DID. The system, or sys as she has down in the hashtags, would be how all of these alters work to form one cohesive system or unit, and how sometimes these alters can form specific roles within the unit, but displayed within her following TikToks, you'll come to find out now even you fellas are more informed about the disorder than the person claiming to have it.
You're a fucking asshole!
Fuck you! Get out of my garden!
I'll shit in your fucking garden!
Now it's her highlighting an argument allegedly occurring between 2 alters of hers, an experience that would be typically described as distressing, or confusing, or even frightening in an individual actually diagnosed with DID. Then again, even those describing their experiences as amusing can still be frightened by the same exact conversation in their head the next day. Her making light of it as if it's something funny and harmless occurring daily is a gross misrepresentation of what truly happens at the least. Not to mention, when it comes to faking something like DID, she's incredibly late to the party. I remember opening up TikTok when I was chutting around playing Minecraft on a school day with class open on the other monitor in quarantine around 2020, seeing all the cornballs fake this disorder for attention back then. And that's when it was like at its peak. People got their 15 seconds of fame from it. People then realized very quickly there's no shot a disorder found in roughly 0.5% of the population also occurs in over 50% of TikTok users. But unfortunately, there's sub-communities still LARPing, but the trend died out years ago, and I can't imagine any other reason for faking it so late in the game other than a huge Hail Mary in order to scrape together some attention. Because if there's one thing in the world that matters more than anything, including an education in Phibz, remember, she's a super senior, that's attention on TikTok. So maybe she came across some relic vintage TikTok from 2020 and got a wild idea, but who knows. Now, next up is what I can only assume was a cry for help, maybe about LARP suffering from DID here, who knows, but it's an audio from which I believe is a rough quote from "I have no mouth, but I must scream."
And I was trapped. I, alone, had no body, no senses, no feelings. I was in hell, looking at heaven, for I am.
Now, comparing her experience to that of an all-powerful, self-aware, and vengeful AI is certainly an interesting way to go about it. especially considering I'm sure Phibs has never read the story, and it's almost ironic comparing her own experience to an AI having been tortured with the gift of self-awareness and intelligence, considering her own position of having to repeat years in high school so many times and a lack of self-awareness. Not to rag on anyone for their own issues with schooling, of course. This, of course, is just another LARP to throw in the bucket of her not fully grasping what it is to be diagnosed with this and, trying to garner sympathy points. But next up, she starts aura farming, displaying the kind of retaliation in store for her sister from one of her supposed alters.
You have to! I can fucking feel it!
Now, with this one, she displays this alter protector as some all-powerful, mighty superhero to the rescue of the rest of her fake alters or the system, romanticizing that protector role a whole lot, which in real cases is a role a specific alter can fall into, but it's certainly not this badass character she's acting like it would be, but rather a way for the individual to compartmentalize and avoid stressful or scary situations and in a way shield the other personalities from experiencing it. But again, this diagnosis also comes with memory and cognitive issues. I would like to reiterate though, for those not familiar with Phibs, she certainly does not have DID. She hasn't spoken a word about it since December of 2025. She literally posts daily on her main too. So I feel the kind of attention seeker Phibs is, she would be milking the hell out of that condition to farm even more interaction and attention. But that's exactly it. She found people interested enough in her silly little TikTok dances and whatnot. So she's made the executive decision to no longer fake and glamorize a real disorder. She doesn't feel like exploiting a diagnosis that's associated most often with significant suffering just to get a couple sympathy likes. Guys, it's time for her to grow up and do whatever this is. She's moved on. She's grown since then. Now, running through what else the secret DID SysTalk account as somewhat of a pseudo-archive before she remembers her password and wipes it clean off the internet consists of, we of course have to highlight how absolutely elated the rest of the alters feel when the main personality decides to shave her noggin, with the wonderful grammatical error at the end reading, how we feel now that the host cut off all her hair. Then in parentheses, we can wear wigs more easier. Of course, with a yippee down in the description, and then she hits this crazy TikTok dance down below. Following that post though, less than a month after, she'd hit this emote in some clown makeup, and that leads to the downfall of her system or DID hidden TikTok. She neglects to post anything about how her alleged disorder is doing for 7 or 8 months after that. There were a few more posts before her final one, of course, and this gem immediately precedes the last one. Hidden within this secret TikTok, this is Phibs seemingly aura farming again, and no, I didn't delay the audio, this is how the original TikTok went.
Do you think I wanted to love you, knowing where you came from and what your mission was? Don't you suppose that every hour we were together I was thinking she's just pretending?
I wasn't! I loved you!
And I loved you so much I let you pretend.
I mean, you gotta love the dedication of the craft. If you told me that was actually Phibs speaking and I haven't heard her voice before, I'd believe you. She'd then, on the same day, of course, emote on us yet again with this TikTok speaking a little bit about the ups and downs of her mental health. But just 7 months later, we have a much more serious video from her where it seems she's really going through a rough time. Now, this one's a little tough. She isn't faking anything about DID. She isn't faking anything else. She seems to genuinely just want to vent about her feelings a little bit. But I feel TikTok is never the place for this. I don't think Phibs is a good person. I certainly don't believe she's innocent of her allegations, but that's just my opinion. However, when it comes to putting your struggles and mental health out there on the internet, I don't think that's something you should ever really do aside from a few select circumstances. For one, a whole lot of people won't have very nice things to say to you that definitely won't help, as evident from her comment section beneath this. But as an example for everyone else, you'd do much better off speaking with someone close to you or even a professional, especially if you're still in school. Most schools have counselors that can at least get you in contact with someone better suited to help you out. It's one thing if you're documenting your struggles while already speaking with a professional, or I guess letting your audience know why you've been absent, I don't know, but airing out too much about your personal struggles isn't going to help and isn't a good idea. Well, fellas, that brings us to the final TikTok posted on the super duper secret dissociative identity disorder LARPing TikTok account, posted on the 20th of December of 2025 with a caption of, "Imagine being back on your cis account after being away for months, Olive, she/they." Now, What I really think this should read is, imagine remembering the password to an account where you lied about having a diagnosis for a disorder you don't have, in a way exploiting and trivializing the real struggles that some people face going through it, and deciding you should keep all those videos up. In fact, she even added the cis hashtag again, highlighting that she is in fact still LARPing about being a system, right up until the very end of last year. So this was 6 months ago, just 3 short months before all her allegations broke. I can't imagine she's grown or changed much since then, since in the previous 6 or 7 months, shout out Nova's favorite numbers, she didn't grow or change as a person at all. Oh well, I think this should serve as a stark reminder to anyone to never forget the passwords to your old accounts, never fake a disease for clicks and views and attention, and in Phibs' case, and I hope everyone watching this would know this, never roleplay inappropriately with those under the age of 18, otherwise people will dig up and drag you for the past like we have in this video. Anyways, I appreciate anyone who made it all the way to the end of today's video. You guys rock. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, unless you're someone I've made a video on, of course. Don't forget to like up and hype up the video if you enjoyed, or maybe even subscribe if you don't want to miss the next video. Shout out to all my Pure Grub members. Later, Grubbas.
How you doing, McGrubba? I seen your video, man.